Hey people, I hope you're all doing okay. Back with a video of okra soup and gari. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I prepared this using the following ingredients. So I used 500 grams of okra, used 500 grams of frozen ugu leaves or fluted pumpkin, used one large brown onion, 3 Scotch bonnet chilies, and 500 grams of tripe and 500 grams of beef. I also used 1 piece of smoked fish for flavor, and then about 5 tablespoons of palm oil. This is 2 heaped tablespoons of crayfish. And so to start, I chopped my beef and tripe to the size that I want, washed it with salt water, and then I went ahead and steamed the tripe for about 5 to 7 minutes on its own because it takes a lot longer to cook than beef, and you don't want to overcook your beef just because you're cooking alongside. I chopped half of the onions, and then the other I blend with the chili just to get different textures and also to make the soup a lot thicker. So I went ahead and while that was cooking, I chopped my okra. I'm showing you 2 techniques for chopping your okra. You can chop it into circles like I did there, or if you want a finer consistency, you could cut it into 4 parts and then chop as normal. You could also use a food processor for this, especially if you're cooking with lots of okra, because that will make life a lot easier. And you can see the difference in between the 2 styles of chopping. Anyway, this had been cooking for about 7 minutes, and it was starting to get tender but not too soft. And then I went in with the beef. I also had washed my fish at this point, so I got that in there, and also started with my seasoning so that everything sort of cooked together and went into the meat. So I went in with the blended onion, chili, 1 stock cube, the crayfish, and lastly I had also put my salt in there. So that had boiled for a bit and the meat had gotten tender enough to eat. So then I went in with palm oil, and you can see that the color of the soup just changes. Palm oil can have a raw taste to it, so you want to boil it for about a minute just to sort of get rid of that flavor and also to get the oil to marry into the soup properly. So I leave this covered for a bit, just for about a minute, and get back to it. And so you can see that the color of the soup has changed from the time that the oil just went in. So at this point I put some more onions in there, and then because I'm using frozen ugu leaves, I put it in at this point. Otherwise, you're using fresh ones, you want to put your okra in first before the ugu leaves, but as I say, it's frozen. So once that was melted in, then I was ready to go in with the okra. And with this, you don't want to boil the okra for too long. About 30 seconds of boiling covered is just enough, just to retain some nutritional value in them. And I don't think the camera did this justice, but this is the finished soup. And the final stage is, of course, to prepare your gari. And this is fairly simple. All you need is boiled water in a bowl, and then gari. This will very much depend on how hungry you are or the person you're preparing the meal for is. But one thing to know is that you certainly want some water on top of your gari. You don't want to cover the entire surface of the water with gari. If you happen to have mistakenly put too much gari in, enough to cover the water, you can always sort of pour a little bit more from your kettle in here. The idea is that the extra water will sort of get soaked in once you start turning the Gari, mixing it all in. So yeah, you just mix and mix until it starts to feel smoother, until it starts to feel more like one piece. But that mixing stage shouldn't be any more than a minute. It doesn't really take too long to prepare Gari. Also, you don't want to have any dry grains of Gari left, and you know you're kind of good to go. And yeah, once you're done, you're good to serve. And this is kind of what it ends like. So thanks for watching and enjoy.